Hey guys, welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we are going to be moving mana around with sparks and augments and all kinds of fun goodies, and also traveling to some in-cities. So I hope you guys are ready. Today we need to move mana around, and I want to use it to create some Terra still. To do that, I am going to need to get kind of creative with how we move mana around, because currently I just have a spark, and the spark is going to push things over here. I want to combine both of these pools and put them near each other, or kind of move the mana around so I can utilize it here. Maybe have two mana pools that are connected to a singular network that connects to a single spark. But to do that, we need to kind of understand how sparks work. So let's take a look at sparks and how they kind of function. So a regular spark is very simple in what it is used for. So let's take a look at a spark, but these things can be augmented as well. Go ahead and make a few of them. So the augments are kind of weird. So a recessive spark will put mana from a mana pool that has, say it has a spark on top of it. If you take a recessive augment and you put it on that spark, and then you have other sparks around it on empty mana pools, it will take that full mana pool, or that mana pool that the recessive spark is on, and it will fill adjacent sparked mana pools. The isolated one is a little bit different. We're going to talk about that. The dominant does the opposite of the recessive. The dominant will pull mana from adjacent sparks. And then we have dispersive, which is actually really useful. Dispersive will take a mana pool, and if this has an augment on it, it will actually fill our personal mana tablets and things like that. Or like I plan on doing by the end of the today, is upgrading our mana tablet and using Terra Steel to do so to create ourselves a mana ring, which is going to be very useful and much larger than your standard spark. So let's just kind of get into the mindset of how sparks work. Let's also grab some ender pearls, because we are going to need a few of those, and we're just going to go ahead and convert them already. Let's go ahead and get that all done. We'll throw them into here. By the way, I've had a lot of questions, people asking, what happens if you stand in this? Nothing. You can throw items into it, and only items that are botany related will be converted. If you throw anything else in there, they will be destroyed, basically. But this does have an internal buffer, so do not use it as a trash can, or you will regret it. You'll pretty much corrupt your world, and you'll have to pull Botania from your mod pack in order to load your world, and thus all your Botania stuff would be deleted. You probably don't want that. So just keep that in mind. Also, I went ahead and used the copy paste gadget here, and when I had some stone in my inventory, I'm able to just, bam, place it. And there we go. We have some more being made, because I needed to get some mana pools made. All right, so let's talk about these spark augments. So I do need a dominant spark. This is the one thing that I am going to be using. So I want to kind of show you how this is going to function. So what I want to do is I want to pull mana from here, and I want to have it all go into a central mana pool that has a normal spark on it that is going to be isolated. So we are going to need that isolated spark. I'll show you what that does here in just a second, but let's go ahead and make it isolated spark. And we're also going to use the mana rail system in order to transfer mana to a mana pool. Kind of cool. It's kind of a neat design that I was working on. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to also incorporate some of the rail stuff that you don't normally see and get that done. So you can put a mana cart you can put a mana pool in a mana cart, or in a rail cart, I guess I should say. And it allows everything to be moved. Now I'm going to place regular sparks on top of each of these mana pools that are almost full, actually. And then I'm going to place another mana pool over here. It's going to be one that a spark is hooked to. Right here is going to be a mana pump. Then we're going to have a cart there, another mana pump, and you can see the direction. You need to focus on the direction that this arrow is pointing. It's going to be transferring mana. And then we're going to have another mana pool right here. Now above this mana pool is going to be another spark. But this spark, as soon as I do this, is going to be transformed into a dominant as soon as I click it on there. But I also need a spark on this one as well. And we're going to go ahead and set this to isolated. Now what this isolated spark is going to do, it's still going to allow the transfer from spark to spark here for items that need to use the power. But this dominant spark will no longer be affected by this. So this spark right here will no longer be affected by this dominant spark. whereas all of these will be up to, I think, 11 blocks away. So all we got to do is smack this dominant on here, and you're going to see this mana pool fill up. Look at that. It's already transferring the mana, filling up here. Now, what I want to do to get the mana into this mana pool is to place a rail here and to put that mana cart. These pumps are going to start working, and the pump is going to pump into the mana cart. I couldn't get it to pump from mana pool to mana pool, so the cart is required. And I don't know if it needs to be on rails or not. I won't be able to know until here in a minute. It might need to be on a rail in order for it to function. So what we have here now is a mana pool that can make Terra Steel. And I want to be able to do this to the other side as well. And you can see this also kind of acts as a mana battery. So we have now 2 mana pools that are our battery along with all these mana pools here. So this is a pretty decent way of transferring mana. Now you need to make sure that this has that isolated spark. Otherwise, what will happen is this right here, this dominant spark will pull from this mana pool. It will pull from this spark that's connected here. So you want to make sure that it is isolated. And we should be able to do the same thing to the other side as well. So let's come back in here. Let's grab a piece of mana steel, Ender Pearl, because we need to make it a mana pearl, and a diamond. Because we are going to make another piece of Terra Steel, because I want to make sure that this actually functions. And we can use this mana pool over here for gaining our pieces. And there we go. And of course, right click that on here to make sure that this spark actually functions. And so it does. And also this spark is going to function as well. And there we go. Super fast. And we have a Terra Steel. So yeah, this thing right here reaches up to 11 blocks. So this is within range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You know, it might be 16, up to 16 blocks away. I wonder if I put sparks here, will this also reach this mana pool? That is something I was kind of curious about. I did want a central mana pool to work, but I didn't know how that was going to pan out. So let's do 2, and then we'll also do 2 more. See how much Terra Steel we can actually make. We have a lot of mana pools full of mana, so it shouldn't be too hard for us to make a bunch of Terra Steel. Let's see. It's still only the 1 mana pool, I do believe. Yeah, that is reaching. So I still want to do the same method here that we have going on. Still want to use the same method. But looky there. We're able to gather a lot of mana. And makes it very quickly as well. Very quick. I don't remember if this is actually dispersing. It does seem to be using definitely more of the mana here than anywhere else. And as you can see, here's the thing. This mana cart does need to be on a rail. Unfortunately. So we might need to push this till it gets back on a rail. And push it back into place. Because we don't want to, let's see if I can't push this thing. Push this thing back on a rail. There we go. And then place that there. Place a block. Get it back on a rail. Yeah, it definitely has to be on a rail for it to work. So when it comes to Terra Steel, I am now making a bunch of it. And I also set this system up. And it's working a little bit different than you might think. So I have all of our standard cells here. And this is going into a dominant spark. So we have our regular sparks going into this dominant spark being transferred over here. And this spark is a little bit different. So this is the dispersive spark that I was talking about. So the dispersive spark is the one I make, just a rune of water. And what it does is it's going to automatically, anytime I walk near it or come within range, it's going to use the mana in the pool to fill up my mana tablet. Whereas this one over here is going to be used to transfer mana over here to make Terra Steel. I could, however, knock this piece off. If you use the wand, you can knock off the augments. And then from there, you could place another isolated augment, and then use it to make Terra still faster if you wanted to. But for the purpose of this, it's going to be just fine. I should now have enough to upgrade our mana tablet. So if we take a look at mana ring, what we can do is we can create a band of mana, which we can place that in. It doesn't show the recipe, but there's our band of mana, which is the same as a normal mana tablet, except we can now put it in our ring slot. But if we make the greater band of mana, you're going to see how much difference it is. It's a whole, basically an entire mana pool, I believe, worth of mana. And as soon as we have this in our inventory or in our slot, you can see this start to work. Let's go ahead and put this in the middle, and you can see it is charging that band. Also, we can put this in our ring slot. It's also going to charge it there as well. You can also see underneath our experience bar, you can see the mana start to recharge there. That's really good because we need more mana, because our flight actually consumes quite a bit of mana. So the more mana that we can actually process, the better off we're going to be. Like, the more mana we have in storage, the better we are going to be. So that's pretty much a decent way of transferring mana. These pumps are incredibly fast, as long as you have some way to transport them here. And this is like a buffer, because you can't use 2 sparks on the same mana pool. So you do need a way of getting mana from one spark to another without using some kind of flip-flop technique, which I do know some people do. This works perfect. I'm not having any issues with it. And I don't know if there's a good way to make it even more compact. I think this is functioning just fine. If you want to put slabs right here to keep the cart from moving, say a mob might bump into it, I recommend maybe using some slabs just to make sure the cart doesn't really move. And, I mean, just kind of keeping the system clean. All it's really about. Kind of doing a thing. I kind of want to build something around all this stuff that we've been working on. Because, I mean, this looks really good, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, look at that. We can just close it off. I mean, we can't really do anything over here because of the Indo Flames, but, I mean, it keeps the cart steady, keeps the thing from moving, and that's good. That's perfect. And this system works, even though we have this, like, giant contraption going on here. Normally, you would consolidate things into one central location, and you can create a huge mana battery if you really wanted to, pretty much by taking mana from your source, like so, putting a dominant on it, and then having a recessive pull from other mana pools. You can do some really interesting things. But this is definitely controlling our mana. I'm really liking this. This is putting a use to our mana, and I thought I was producing a lot of it. This now makes me feel like I'm not producing any at all. Look at this. We're already out of mana to charge my greater band of mana. So yeah, I mean, we're getting somewhere. Now, what can we do with the current amount of Terra Steel that we have? Not a whole lot. I do want to, before we fight the next tier Gaia fight, which there is a tier 2 Gaia fight, I do want to make sure I have Terra Steel. The Terra Steel is going to be really nice. For one thing, it's going to cut down on the amount of cost that are flight cost in mana. Also, I want to be able to make a few Thorn Chakrams, because these things are really good. Also, a Mana Mirror might be a good option as well. A Mana Mirror basically lets us link to a mana pool to act as basically a band of mana. But really, the best thing we can make is I mean, some people might say a Terra Shatterer might be good. I don't really want a greater Ring of Magnetization. The Ring of Magnetization is pretty bad as it is. When you don't, you really don't want that sometimes. But yeah, a Terra Shatterer is pretty nice. The thing with the Terra Shatterer is it's pretty weak until you fill this thing with a ton of mana. And when I say it needs a ton of mana, it needs a ton of mana in order to upgrade its class. So you don't get that really big 9x9 breaking with the Terra Shatterer until you have this thing soaked in a mana pool forever. So it does take a huge amount of mana, but this is working out pretty cool. I'm super excited by this. And super happy with this design. It is very functional and it works just perfect. The only thing we could probably do here is expand on this design, I know that I could totally use even more mana spreaders and even more Endo Flames to fill this whole setup. And just add some more open crate automation here with some refined storage hook to it. And that would make this mana process a whole lot faster and really, really viable. Now, there are tons of other ways you can generate mana. That's what the beauty of Botania is all about. And we haven't even fully upgraded our mana spreaders, because these things can be upgraded as well. But this setup's actually functioning just about as well as this system. So I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this whole setup, and if you actually enjoy it. If you think that there's a better way to do this, let me know. But yeah, I really like the way this whole setup is functioning. It works really well. And definitely did the job. So now that we got a lot of our mana stuff situated, I kind of want to go back to the end and kind of teleport ourselves into the dimension. Now that we have a bit more mana to support our flight, we can fly for a lot longer. And I think it'd be a good idea to try and find an in island, and also grab some chorus fruit and things like that, because those are needed for some really cool recipes later on. So I guess let's teleport there. That's so fun. And we'll find this bad boy here and just chuck an ender pearl in it. There we go. Now I do want to set the portal location. So we'll create a new one and call it portal. Purple is fine. There we go. So we know that that is there. Now, what direction do we want to go in? North, maybe? North seems pretty empty. How about west? West seems doable. Now, I probably want to use my shift, but I'm going to have to occasionally come down to the ground for certain things. But I'm going to have to definitely be on the lookout for islands. That's something that's sometimes really easy. I've had spawns where I teleport and there's an island right in my face. Sometimes I've spawned and there's not been a single one. So you have to kind of just look. And what I'm doing right now is I'm picking up the coarse fruit on the top, because it'll actually consume the block, the coarse flower, and the coarse flower is used for a few things. I have noticed a few bugs with the flying, by the way. If you're sprinting, or your control key is your sprint key, your dash doesn't function like it's supposed to if you're in sprint. Also, if you're in sprint mode and you land while you're still in sprint, you take damage. So, kind of not cool in that regard. And it looks like we're already going to have to land. You can see our flight doesn't last forever. But we do have a jetpack. So if we do want to fly around some more, I hope our jetpack will sustain us. Oh, and there, speaking of it, there is a city. Wow. That was perfect. All right. So let's head down here. Of course, there's this bad guy. See if I can't kill him. Nice. And we got a shulker box from that. And there we go. What is this? Orb of temporary flight. What does that mean? Another orb of temporary flight. Is this something we consume? It gives us fly? Wait. It gives us normal flight for an extended duration. That's not bad at all. Like, I will take that. I need some of these blocks, because to grab this thing is not always easiest. Let's go ahead and grab our head. Perfect. Yeah. We're not doing so bad after all. Let's also check some of these rooms and see if there is anything cool in here. Also throw my chest piece on, because these guys can do some major damage. Here's a chest. Yeah, let's see what these guys got. All right. Oh, there's a dragon scale in there. I think that is super useful, by the way. Yeah, I wanted to check around. Can I grab these? I can. Perfect. And yeah, I don't know if inrods are used in any crafting recipes. I would assume that they are, considering some recipes kind of do that to you. They make you come to the end cities before you can do anything in the mod. Let's see, there's chest in here. Nope. Shulker boxes though. I wouldn't actually mind to have a couple shulker boxes, even though we do have backpacks and bags. Trying to avoid the levitation effect. Yep, and there we go. Now we have levitation, but we have flight, so we can kind of bypass that levitation. That is super crazy, though, that we just got orbs of flight. What? What even is that? But I think that's pretty good. We got pretty much everything we need. Man, that was incredibly fast. And, not to mention, this is here. Wow. That's really cool. Really cool. And of course we can head back just like that. What do we get on here? Unbreaking, magic protection. Like, these aren't something we can make, though. We can only find them in cities. Super cool. And yeah, we have some more resources. Now, the dragon scales, I've seen that these are from Forbidden Arcanus as well. So I think we're going to have to do a bit more loot diving in order to find some more of this stuff. I wonder if this gives you flight. This armor does or not. Draco Arcanus helmet. And the swords and the picks and stuff. I wonder how powerful this armor is. It doesn't really tell you anything about it other than it's a really strong armor set. Like, I mean, really strong. I mean, 6 on the helmet, 8 on the leggings, and 3 toughness. I think the chest piece had 10. Yeah, 10 armor, 3 toughness. That's, I mean, pretty nice. Pretty nice gear. Also, does the dragon head have a use? Okay, so we can get scales. Oh, can we make the armor? Wait. Forbidden Arcanus. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the armor. So, I mean, it did use just 1 apiece, right? I'm not looking at the tools. I'm not interested in that. Okay, so no. It requires a bit more than that. So the helmet requires 1. Leggings require 3. Boots require 2. So we need to find some more cities. And we're good. So we need 1, 2, 3. And then also need these little pieces, which is just a bunch of obsidian that's smelted down with iron nuggets. So that's super easy to achieve. Getting dragon heads is not too hard, as we can find those like everywhere. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need 9 of them. So we need about, well, we technically only need 1 more head, and we would have 9 of them. So we need to find another in city. You know what? I think that's a goal for the next episode. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.